So first and foremost, I just want to come back again and thank our partners in SAP Design Architects. These guys have been tremendous in helping to imagine. They have spent many hours talking to staff and exploring what are the critical needs. And I'm grateful for them to help us to have perspective about the past 50 to 75 years and to recognize that unless there is a plan, we could potentially go 5 and 10 and more years without having any action. And what is happening with every one of our facilities is that they're aging. And some of the areas that were identified as non-conforming and or needing to be enhanced to improve the learning experience for our students continue to become older and older. And we want to make sure that we're providing the best learning and teaching environment for our young people. And so what they share with you is really R310 and beyond. It is the next phase of what our facility master plan will look like. And so it's critical for us to be able to understand what the community thinks are the highest priorities. It's very important for us to paint the picture very clearly and find out what our community values.
In this presentation about the Lebanon School District's Facilities Master Planning, we'll be showing a brief overview of what has been accomplished through our most recent R310 plan, which was approved in 2013 to map out 10 years of facilities projects. We will then share potential focuses for the next 10 years and beyond, and at the end, ask for your feedback on those projects and which order to prioritize them in. Looking at this timeline of the 1950s to today, you'll see all of the major facilities projects that have been done in our district. Starting in the 50s, the original part of Crest Elementary, Hillcrest Elementary, and the first part of Boswell Elementary were constructed. Those projects still stand in their original form today, nearly 70 years later. Moving into the 60s, you'll notice the Donnelly Building, formerly an elementary school and now a wing of Lebanon High School, was constructed. Throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s, additional wings of multiple buildings were constructed as our population grew. The construction of Easter Elementary was the keynote project of the early 2000s, which then brings us to our current R310 plan over on the right-hand side, which we have completed as promised. Over the past 10 years, we completed the Lebanon Middle School project, the construction of Maple Crest Gymnasium, connector wing and cafeteria renovation, and transitioned the Hillcrest building to our Hillcrest Education Center. We are currently in the process of completing the Boswell Elementary project and our Early Childhood Center. While Easter is our newest elementary school, it's already 20 years old. With the addition of the new Early Childhood Center, our immediate focus will be on reconfiguring the building to meet the needs of our kindergarten and first grade population for the next several years. In the future, we may look at adding a FEMA multipurpose structure and additional classrooms. And now, let's talk about the next 10 years and beyond. First, let's look at Maple Crest Elementary. Phase 1 has been completed with the FEMA-rated safe room, which is a gymnasium and performance space, as well as restrooms and flexible learning spaces. Phase 1 also included the renovation and expansion of the cafeteria and a multipurpose space. But there are still many needs, including the non-conforming construction in the 1950s wing, which includes crowded and outdated classrooms. It includes trailers, which are no longer suitable as classrooms, congestion of bus pickup and drop-off, drive lane conflict between buses and cars, stormwater drainage issues, lack of strong identity for the school's entrance, and no canopy at the main entrance. And now for some ideas for Phase 2 at Maple Crest. This would include an addition that would connect Phase 1 with the existing building, creating new, properly sized classrooms and a new front entrance to the school. This would remove the trailers and create a new music room, freeing up additional space elsewhere in the building. It would replace that original north wing from the 50s with new classrooms that meet the needs of modern day learning and new generations of students. And we would expand parking and a drive loop to revise our bus pickup and drop off and improve the traffic flow. These slides show a 3D rendering of what Phase 2 could look like to connect the building and create a cohesive flow on the site. And here is the existing front of Maple Crest, and then what the new front of the school could look like. And now let's turn to Boswell Elementary. Phase 1 is ongoing and will add a new FEMA-rated safe room and restrooms, a new STEM lab and talented and gifted lab, a connector with a cafeteria expansion, renovated offices and counseling centers, and a clear front entrance to the school. However, there are still many needs at Boswell, which include the non-conforming Mark Twain wing, built in the 50s with undersized and outdated classrooms, trailers being used as classrooms, an undersized kitchen, congested pickup and drop-off, and the lack of full vehicular access around the building. Here are some ideas for the future of Boswell. Replacing the Mark Twain wing with new, spacious classrooms that are future-focused and meet the learning needs of current and future generations of students. Renovating existing classrooms to be project-based learning labs. Removing the trailers. Expanding the undersized kitchen to meet the building's modern-day population. And expanding the circle drive and adding a drive loop around the campus. Here is a 3D rendering of what this phase could look like. This slide shows the current front face of Boswell, and then here is what the front entrance and new classroom wing could look like. And lastly, Lebanon High School. Lebanon High School has been largely untouched for many years, and there are numerous needs. Many of the classrooms are significantly undersized, particularly science and art classrooms, in all of the classrooms and hallways in the 1950s Donnelly wing. There is non-conforming construction and extreme congestion in the Donnelly wing. The site slope and signage make it difficult to identify the main entry and do not make a strong first impression. There is extensive congestion on the site, especially at the pinch point between the football blockhouse and LTCC, as well as the lack of a perimeter loop to ease traffic flow. There is no clear entry to LTCC. The cafeteria and kitchen are severely undersized for the student population, and our campus lacks a dedicated performing arts center, typical for communities of our size. And now for some ideas for the future of Lebanon High School. SAP has outlined 3 phases. Phase 1 would include the addition of a large classroom wing with spacious, modern classrooms that fit today's learning needs and move us into the future. This would replace the art and science wing and the Donnelly wing, which would be demolished. Phase 1 would also include a clear entrance for the high school, and Donnelly Gym would be preserved. Phase 2 would potentially include a drive loop around the campus for better access and flow, providing more than one way in and out of the campus, parking lot expansions, a clear entrance for LTCC, and a new kitchen and cafeteria that fit the school's population. And finally, Phase 3 would potentially include a new performing arts center, a new athletic end zone building, a new fan plaza and press box, and demolishing existing outbuildings that impede traffic flow. Here is a 3D rendering of what the classroom addition at Lebanon High School might look like. This could feature a 2-story academic wing at the front of the building, showcasing our academics and making a powerful impression about our high school. And here are some renderings of what the school's exterior could look like compared to the existing building exterior. We've also included a couple of interior renderings of what the new wing and common space of Lebanon High School could look like, really bringing the school into not only the present, but into the future.
As you can see on the screen behind me, there really is not an option to do all 3 phases of the high school all in one fell swoop. Nor is there an opportunity to do the Boswell Maple Crest project at the same time as doing the high school projects. Those costs are significant, and they have to be phased out so our community can, one, have the opportunity to decide, do we or do we not want these to happen? And I would like to reiterate, as we look to the future, these things only happen if our community says they want it to happen. What's happening right now is, what would be first? What will we bring to the community first? As you can see, there are 4 cycles, and I know we all can acknowledge that it takes time. There's 20 years represented on that map, and in case you're doing quick math, the kindergartners at Easter Elementary will graduate in the year 2035. And so they will graduate the year before the third phase or third column would occur. So it gives you perspective about why we need a plan, and we need to begin to prioritize what's going to happen and begin to move forward. Otherwise, we'll look forward. We already have kids in the classroom who will miss out on the majority of the possible phases because they just can't happen fast enough. What we are asking you to do, and in the next slide in a moment, is going to give you the opportunity to provide your input.
To conclude this presentation, we ask that you provide your feedback through this survey. You can scan the QR code using the camera app on your phone or go to the website shown on your screen. You'll be able to prioritize between the different options presented to help guide the order of district facilities projects in the next 10 years and beyond. And you'll be able to provide comments about what you've seen today. Thank you so much for your time and for your valuable feedback.